So that we can hand over to John.
Come on, John.
And doesn't have as many slides. It's a tough act to follow, but John can do it.
Come on, John.
First of all, can I introduce myself? My name is John Daniels, and some of you won't have met me before. I started in June last year, same time as Rupert, as Operations Director in a new department. Didn't exist previously in the business, and was probably the final realisation in the creation of a business in the rugby industry. We started when we went professional, and overnight, players were paid openly. Then the penny dropped with somebody, and they said, well, if we're going to pay people, how are we going to generate the money? Then the next title you saw was Commercial Director. Then we went about doing business in that way until finally we recognised that the industry needs people who organise things, people who have to deal with people like Rupert, who invite you lot to tell us all your opinions on what you'd like changed, and hence the creation of the Operations Department last June. What that means is that it's a new department in its infancy, and things have had to come together pretty quickly for us to progress as we wanted to, at the rate which we wanted to, and certainly you wanted us to. What we did at the time was created 4 departments feeding into myself as the director. So the 4 managers I have reporting to me, you may well know some or all of them. Dave Healy is my stadium manager, Joe Paulson is my IT and systems manager, Jean Parker as business administration manager, and Anne DeFilippo as ticket office manager. All our events, every event that's held here at the stadium comes under the control of the operations department, and that is why probably some of you I have met have probably had an issue on match day and have found Rupert, myself or Paul, given one of us a year bashing, and then we've come over to speak to you to see what the issue was. IT and systems, what you perhaps don't know throughout the stadium is that the IT and systems really is cutting edge for its time. When it was built with being contemporary for the next 10 years in mind, and so that in itself creates opportunities for us. And that covers everything from our IT network, our TV system, the big screen, which is one of only 4 in the UK, all those things come under that IT and systems. So in my opinion, this season, what are our success stories? I would say the establishment of the new department and its processes is success in itself. The stadium completion certificate has been issued. Event management processes has probably been the biggest, most significant change we've made this year. As Rupert alluded to earlier, there were issues, for example, the complimentary tickets that went around last season. I think it's fair to say that the main, if not the only priority last year in operating the stadium was to make sure that we achieved our maximum capacity on our safety certificate, and to make sure that everybody was safe, and we would never compromise that. What didn't come into the equation was the experience we gave you, the fans, the paying public, the members of our family. Now, to do that with a number of different people, the match day team, the operational staff, including casuals on a match day, can be anything between 200 and 400. Now, to try and get every one of those to believe in and understand the qualities we require and demand, which are the same qualities that you require and demand, is a challenge. And the only way to do that is to, through good sound process, planning processes, evaluation processes, clearly accountable people for certain areas. That's the only way we've been able to achieve whatever we have achieved, and I'll leave that open to you on our event days this year. Stadium running costs, I would consider as a success this year. We moved in, we're starting, and we're learning to understand the stadium far better, which means that our running costs have been reduced considerably, and that will cover everything from security, event management and stewarding, utilities and so on. So in short, on success stories, I'd summarise, and I think we have produce a better performance whilst also significantly reducing costs. However, with a footnote, that's not to say we don't believe we can do better. Just 3 areas I wanted to put out on the floor tonight as areas we believe we need to work on. Online ticket sales. The experience of buying a ticket online this year has been, in short, unacceptable. We recognise that, and between ourselves and our ticketing provider, we have to address that before next season. So that'll be a main priority for us this summer. On a match day, we have some minor issues in parking, and that basically revolves around efficiency of use of the space that we've got. There's the traffic barrier, which is the bane of some people's existences. That coming down an hour before, 45 minutes before. And then there's the flow of traffic, the direction of the traffic around the stadium, which has a considerable bearing on any of the changes that we would like to make in order to make it a better experience here. So that is something which is on my agenda for this summer to try and address, purely to make the matchday experience more enjoyable for yourselves. Finally, on event day, in spite of the improved performance in my eyes, and also the improved performance, the silly mistakes that are made. I was talking earlier to one of you, Steve, who was at the Blues game and quite rightly calling me to complain about the lack of food in the South Concourse from half time on. Well, that really isn't acceptable, and that's all I could say to that. And so it's an aim of mine to continue to cut out those silly mistakes. I think they are fewer and further between, but we still got a bit of work to do on that. So the future. We do have a wonderful stadium. As you know, we've had football internationals here, we've held European ties here, and last year the FIFA representative who came to assess the stadium had actually done 2 European Cup finals himself, and he classed the stadium as world class. It was as good as anything he'd seen, just smaller. So I think we have to remind ourselves of that, and we have to be proud of that. And as Rupert said, it's ours. We don't share it, we're not told when we can play or what we can put up on a wall or what colour we have to have it, or we have to put half Scarlets and half somebody else. It is ours. We do have a hard-working, committed group of staff, and they're all committed to making this place, the stadium and the business, a better place. So in short, we all, I think, but in particularly from my point of view in operations, we look forward to the future with confidence. And hopefully you will come with us on that journey. Hopefully more people will come with us on that journey as well. But the future certainly looks bright, and we all look forward to it with confidence.
Thanks, John. And just a couple of quick words there, insofar as John said, the future is bright, the future is Scarlets. And from my perspective, are we perfect? No. We've still got an awful lot of work to do, an awful lot of work. But I think I was talking to somebody yesterday that I've been around the block a few times, been in this business a long time. But you wouldn't really hope for a better team in the trenches than the team you've got around the table tonight. I wouldn't. And I have to say that also about the likes of Nigel and Gareth. We know we've got faults, we know we've got things we've got to put right, but we've got the right team in place to do it. So, without further ado, let's have a quick 5-minute break. We'll get back in just about 25 to about 5 minutes. Thanks, folks.